Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. How Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Abdulrazak won tickets. Sultan, fish out, prosecute unknown gunmen. Man, that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, laments effect of interest rates and hike. I didn't abandon youth service, Odua insists. Primaries monetized, a mess, says Jonathan. Okay, which story are we starting with? Okay. In The Nation?
The senator representing Anambra North, Stella Odua, if we recall, there was it was in the news. They said NYSC had said she had absconded NYSC at the time she served in 1982-83. And she has replied, she says, Maza, people should retract that reckless and scandalous publication. She is insisting that she did her NYSC and she finished, and she hopes, and she's threatening them. She's threatening NYSC and that she will sue them if they do not retract that statement. I hope NYSC has done a proper job of investigating this and not that they just put out a statement without confirming if this is true. And if it is true, then we'll see how this plays out.
Okay, so the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, has asked the federal government to immediately take over forests and swampy areas, serving as hideouts for criminals and killers across the country. So he made a statement through the Secretary General Khalid of the Jamaatul Nasri Islam, JNI, and he said that these gunmen ought to be prosecuted, found out and prosecuted. He also talked about there was a woman in Anambra State, a pregnant woman who was killed alongside his children. And he said this is just so barbaric. And he's expressing worry that these killings are now gradually, becoming ethnic and religious killings. And so that we should stop saying they are unknown gunmen. They are actually known gunmen, but just ignored. And so the police needs to either set up a joint task force to fish them out and do whatever they can to curb the insecurity in the nation. So he just went on to say some of the things he thinks that the government needs to be doing to curb insecurity.
Congratulations to the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He had about 1,170 delegates vote for him to run for the APC governorship ticket. He beat opponents Wale Oluwo and Femi Mustafa. And Kwara State, same thing happened. We had we had quite in Kwara. We had Abdurrahman Abdulrazak. We also had in Ogun State, Dakwa Biodun, amongst many others. And Toye Cole for Rivers State. I thought that was really cool. Toye Cole also got the ticket for APC and Rivers. Nasir Gwandu for Kebbi State. In Enugu, we have Uche Chukwu Niger. So it was an interesting sweep for APC yesterday. And this is the weekend we've all been waiting for. We just can't. I can't wait for Monday to come. Let's get this thing over and done with. But I'm really excited for the governors who are able to get their tickets yesterday. Congratulations to the governor of Lagos State and many others.
He's had very smooth.
And he was dancing yesterday. Did you see him dancing?
Yes,
oh, lo, lo, lo. That's the song of the season.
Quickly, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has talked about the ongoing primaries by political parties, and he's condemning the practice, what he's seen. He said that this has the trappings of a scam, that a lot of aspirants are converting for votes and spending a lot of money, that there's been news of people who did not get were not elected to be delegates asking for a refund, and this is not one of the best practices compared to how politics is being done in other climes. I say that we have just made everything about money, and he doesn't understand why people need to put money down to be elected as delegates, that we need to change some of these practices.
Moving on quickly to the Punch. Governorship primaries, fresh crisis hit APC, factions boycott polls and threaten suits. Buhari attends AU summit in Malabo. I'll ensure Nigeria exports fuel in 2 years, says Bakari. JAMB withholds 69 UTME results, screens 27,105 again. Osinachi, FG slams homicide charges against husband. I can't share money like other aspirants, says Umahi. Police arrest 43,329 kidnap robbery suspects in 1 year. Tinubu Kwakanso Ekweremadu may lead regional parties. And manufactured goods trade deficits hit 2.6 trillion naira despite forex shortage. Okay, which story are we taking in Punch?
Okay, I'll take the Osinachi story. You remember the late gospel artist who died on the 8th of April. And remember the story of the violence that she faced at home from her husband. So the federal government has filed a 23-count charge against Peter Nwachukwu 56-year-old. That's her husband. And count 1 is culpable homicide, punishable with death. And they said that this is because he caused her death by various acts of violence, aggravated assault, knowing that the consequence of that assault may lead to her death. And also he placed her in a place of fear of physical injury. So it looks, you know, when the story came out, we were up in arms about it, and I was worried that when he gets to court, he would somehow, there won't be enough evidence, you know, to hold him directly to her death. But it looks like they have enough evidence to prosecute him.
Yeah, so the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has said that they will further screen 27,105 results of candidates who wrote the 2022 examination. And they said they had withheld 69 results so far. So the statistics that they made available mentioned that 1,761,338 candidates registered for the examination. 1,671,203 results out of the 1,707,626 candidates sat for the examination. The results were released. And so these 27,000 results that they're going to further screen, they will screen them first before they release it. They also mentioned that they are going to try as much as possible to include using laptops for the examinations. They want to phase out what they call the zero-thin client computers for their examinations, saying that the way that one is configured, if anything happens, if there's any form of disruption, it affects multiple students at the same time during the exams. And so they've concluded the phase that they want to, you know, remove it and probably start using laptops. Hopefully by next examinations, we may see more of that.
All right, so Pastor Tunde Bakare, who's also a presidential aspirant under the APC, was speaking to the Cable News saying that he would ensure that Nigeria exports refined petroleum within 2 years. He was saying he was trying to appeal, part of his consultations to get people to vote for him, especially the delegates for this weekend. He was saying that he's going to restructure the national security architecture to protect herdsmen, farmers, traders, and the common people if elected president. He was going on about the fact that the structure and numerical inadequacies of our policing system is what has outstretched Nigerian army, and that they're going to ensure that they restructure to localize policing so that when he becomes president, security will be better taken care of. So, as I said, it's still part of what he's trying to do to get votes. This weekend, as I said, is quite critical. Yeah. Everybody's doing it last minute, and we'll see what happens. May the best man win. Moving on to Daily Sun.
I guess we're going to
what time?
One more story.
Okay, let's take a quick break. No, let's take one more. I have one more story.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So, ASUU is calling on the federal government and saying that they need to do the needful. So I think they had released 34 billion to ASUU to probably sort out some of the issues that they have. But according to Emmanuel Osodoke, that's the national president of the Electorals Union, he spoke in Otta, saying that that money that was released is just for the minimum wage. And that has nothing to do with what they are demanding for. And so they are not going to stop this strike that they have decided to do for 100-day. That the government needs to go back to the drawing board and reply and give them what they have all agreed. And he says to the students that he apologizes to them. He's so sorry that they have to stay at home and, you know, suffer and do this sacrifice. But the suffering is to ensure that Nigeria has a good system of education later on. So everybody can just tighten their belt and see how they can get this done once and for all.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on to Daily Sun. Lawan Oshibajo Tinubu Onu Amechi Umahi look strong for the presidential primaries. APC strike. ASUU disowns 34 billion naira. FG Lajes says no retreat. Sit at home, hoodlums burn motorcycle tricycle in Nsukka. Children's Day, Orji Kalu advocates severe punishment for children's rights violators. APC Guba, Sanwo-Olu, Yahaya Abiodun, others get second-term tickets. Buhari travels out to attend the AU extraordinary meeting in Malabo. And Obi, political tsunami hits Anambra PDP. Okay, let me start with the major headline because I was talking about it earlier. The APC presidential convention, the special convention of the APC will be happening this weekend, where the ruling party will be deciding who the presidential candidates will be. And the top runners, obviously, are the Senate President, Ahmad Lawan, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, former Governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former Minister of Science, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, and Rotimi Amechi, and Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi. These are the 6 core contenders. However, people are suspecting that there might be a trump card thrown in with the Jonathan factor. So they're saying that the Northern elders are still doing everything to lobby to get him to actually run. He hasn't given them an answer yet, but they're doing everything to get him to also run. So that might be the one that disrupts the entire projections. But the projections they are saying is based on 4 factors. They said the analysis is based on the delegates' preferences. If you recall, the delegates are the regular ad hoc delegates, who are 3 per local government, not the super delegates, which consist of the governors, the elected officers, local government, all that one. But these are you and I, the delegates. Regular. So it's going to be preference of the delegates, the realignment of the APC governors, President Buhari's behind-the-scenes plans, his moves, and finally, the emerging voting patterns in swing states. So those states that we're not 100% sure. So it's going to be interesting. Those of you in the Southwest now, there's some swing states. Because Oyero right now can swing left because they are actually PDP state. But you never, for this thing,
you never know.
We never know. So it's really interesting. For those who are in the political space, this is an interesting weekend to watch and observe, and we'll see the results. I don't want to wake up on Monday.
Oh, like
hear the results. With them giving the results.
Speculations, projections. I just don't want to get involved.
All right.
But it's Children's Day anyway. So the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzokalu, has described children as the nation's most valuable asset. And he's saying that he's advocating for severe punishment for violators of children's rights. He's also congratulating parents and guardians on this day and asking that they do their best in raising our children's rights, because children that are raised properly help to build a decent society. And I agree with him, mostly what he says, especially about severe punishment for violators of children's rights. So I'm asking, is he also talking about child marriage? Is he also talking about leaders, governors, political, appointees that have access to a state's resources, and then they loot it, and then a child's education, health suffers because of that? Are those people also part of those that would be severely punished, for violating?
Is it just people the people on the streets that they catch? So some hoodlums are said to be enforcing the sit-at-home order by IPOB yesterday, set a motorcycle and a tricycle ablaze in Nsukka, Enugu State. The incident happened at the early hours of the morning, and it took place at Omokashi Road by the building materials market along Urban Girls Secondary School in Nsukka, and residents in the area were all thrown into confusion. They said shops, business centers, motor parks, banks, markets, and schools, both private and public among others, were not open for activities at all. However, IPOB had earlier cancelled the yesterday's sit-at-home because of the adjournment of Nnamdi Kalu's case to June 28th. So I really don't understand why they're still enforcing the sit-at-home with this. So the public, that's the PPRO of the police, has said that they have not received any official reports about what has happened. So they are waiting till they get a report to see how they can look into things. Okay, moving on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Decisive weekend, APC, PDP pick presidential candidates. FG states local government share 656.060 billion naira for the month of May. Government kidnapped Lebanese, kill soldier driver in Ondo. 3 Niger PDP delegates shot dead by bandits. Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, others win APC Guba tickets. Election-sensitive materials no longer safe in CBN, Falana tells INEC. Abba Kyari prays court for bail, alleges threat to life in Kuje prison. Okay, which story are we?
So Abba Kyari and 3 of his co-defendants are asking the court to grant them bail because they feel unsafe and their lives are at risk at the Kuje Correctional Center. Their lawyers also pleaded that due to the sort of work that they did before they were remanded in custody as police officers, and for them to be put in the same place as the criminals who they had likely been involved in their arrest, put their lives at risk. But the Nigerian Correctional Service says, well, Abba Kyari and his cohorts are safe in their custody. There's no threat to their life. And that there's a story that had been going around social media where some people alleged that Abba Kyari had been attacked and they were being transferred from the center to DSS custody. He says it's a very reckless and it's a false story and it's reckless. He says that we should disregard that. And I'd like to read this. He says, however, notable individuals, including ex-governors, ministers, senators, and other celebrities of higher social status have passed through the same facility without any threat to their lives. I just feel like it's shade, like even people way past you have been in this center and nothing happened to them, talk less of you. But
why you can't complain? Yeah, so there are 3 delegates allegedly killed by bandits, and this happened in Mina. That's Niger State. They said the state's chapter of the PDP, and they had suspended their primary. So they had issues with the number of delegates and the sort of delegates that were gotten. And so the confusion led them to suspend it till Thursday. And they sent some of the delegates home to go and get their passports, get their ID cards, get their national driver's license so that they can authenticate when they come back on Thursday. On their way, they were attacked and bandits shot and 3 of them died. Those were some of the delegates that have been substituted to represent that local government. They were supposed to get in, and so they had been killed. It was one of them who escaped who gave the story, and investigations are ongoing.
Sad. So the human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, SAN, was speaking yesterday in at a New Generation Girls and Women's Development Initiative, some event I think was happening in Att cked, where he was saying that Godwin Emefiele should be sacked because we can no longer trust that the sensitive materials, election materials, cannot be stashed away in the CBN with his interest in politics, that it makes the whole thing partisan. So that he's asking, therefore, because we thought he was sacked, but it was fake news. But he's not saying that, no, he actually should be sacked because we cannot trust the sanctity of those materials if indeed
he has political interests.
He has political interests. And he was also saying that he regretted the fact that 2,000 electoral offenders have been arrested since 2011. And none of them have been convicted or been ever prosecuted or punished for their. So he's quite, the INEC is trying, but we have to do better to ensure justice for those election offenders. There's also appealing to INEC to ensure that their people are well behaved this time around, because unfortunately our justice system is not even moving on this.
Okay. Who are these people that generate these false stories?
And then
we should be able to find the person that starts this
and arrest the person.
Let me take one more story before we move on. So gunmen suspected to be kidnappers on Wednesday abducted a Lebanese national, and then according to an eyewitness, he said they came in while they were driving, stopped the vehicle, started shooting sporadically into the air. They killed the soldier that was guarding the Lebanese and killed the driver at the same time, then whisked away the Lebanese man. But the police is aware of what has happened. This actually happened in Ondo State, and they said they have released some of their security officials to go after this government and see how they can rescue the Lebanese expatriate.
Okay, that's all we can take. I think The Guardian, let me just read the papers. I'm not sure we took any story that is different here. 48 hours to APC presidential primaries, another shift likely over absence of screening convention committee. APC disqualifies Benue, Abia, Cross River reps aspirants as Buhari commits to fair, peaceful polls. PAC April revenue down by 68 billion as FG others share. And picture again here of the APC governor, Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as he was smiling.
Yeah, we're happy for him.
His new...
We're happy for him.
His return. His return to office. Thank you, Maya. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.